going on, everybody? It's week 13 in the National Football League. In a league where they play for pay. And the Miz is here with another pack of picks. And I'm having a great season. I am well beyond 500. I've had a hot year, and I look to continue. And last night, the Buffalo Bills beat up on the Patriots. And the Bills are not healthy, but they're going to be getting healthy over the coming weeks. And the Bills were a Super Bowl pick of mine in August, and I'm going to stick with the Buffalo Bills to go to the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills are asserting themselves. But to the picks, right? The NFL is coming down to it, and this is what I like to say. This is where you separate the men from the boys by the price of their toys. And Odell Beckham's in town visiting with the Giants. We'll see what happens. But I don't feel strongly that the direction the Giants are in as they are rebuilding for the future, I don't see them picking up Odell at this moment. And part of me believes I love Odell. I'd love to have him back on a short term, a show me deal this year, which he might not be willing to do. But Joe Schoen has a plan, and I think Odell's using the Giants to get as much money as he can out of Dallas or Buffalo. Probably Dallas, hate to say it. But this is week 13, and the slate of games for this weekend are probably the most intense, best pack of games of the year so far, and there will be a lot of division games. And game number 1 takes us to Detroit. The Detroit Lions are minus 1 point at home against the Jaguars. The Lions the last 4 weeks are playing much improved football. Now they lost last week. I believe it was a Thanksgiving game. I don't know, but the Lions have been playing good football. They're at home. They're minus 1 against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are coming off a pretty nice win where they were down 10 going into the 4th and took the game. But this is simple. Detroit is at home. These two teams are about equal. Detroit's a little better. And I feel Detroit even is a little better coached. And I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win this game and continue to fight for the last seed in the NFC as a wild card. They are in there. And they win this game right here at home. Game number 2. Let's go to Nashville. Actually, let's go to the Titans up in Philly. The Titans are in Philly against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are having a monster of a season. They're coming off a beatdown last Monday night as they put 40 points on the board. But the Eagles' defense has been having holes up the middle, and they've been giving up the ground game. But they can afford to do that with the offense they have. Hurts is having an MVP-level season. The Philadelphia Eagles are at home. The Titans are a feisty, physical team, as they always are every year in and year out. They scratch, claw, punch you in the face. They take punches and continue to move forward, led by a bull of a running back, Henry. The Titans are plus 4.5 going into Philly. Well, I'll tell you what, even great teams have to have tough weeks. And the Titans gave up a couple of games this year that they might have been better than those teams, and I feel like this is a game where they're going to come back and fight. The Tennessee Titans are plus 4.5. Take the Titans to 5 or 5.5 if you can. Take the points. Give me the Tennessee Titans at plus 5. The Titans might even win this game, but I tell you, I love them with the 5 points. Tennessee plus 5. Game 3 is going to be a circus. Pack your bags. We're going to the circus to see the elephants, Santa Claus, and the clowns. as the Texans host the Cleveland Browns, and Watson is back. The ex-Texan quarterback with the much controversy and the clown show is returning to play. He probably will be on the field. It'll be a shit show outside as there's plans for major protesting and women's rights. It's going to be the media circus of the country this week. Yes, sir. The Texans are +7 at home. They've had a rough year, but they've been in a lot of games, and their defense is feisty, and they got a power bull of a running back. They can run the ball. They play hard-nosed defense, and they haven't given up yet. And the Browns are coming in, and that's going to only anger that fan base. It's going to be a circus. The owner, I'm sure, is going to have a little speech for the Texans. The Texans are going to get up for this game. The Texans are +7 against Watson and the Browns. Give me the Texans +7. If you're a guy who likes to put cookies on it, buy a point, make it +8. You are safe. The Texans will be right in this game towards the end. It might even be there for them to win. The Miz takes the Texans +7. Lock that up. Game number 4, the Chargers are +1 against the Raiders, a division rival. I hate a division rival. I believe the Chargers are starting to come. They're starting to get healthy. They had a nice win last week. The Chargers are starting to roll. I believe they're going to make a run towards that last wild card spot. It began last week. The Chargers are +1. The Raiders are very iffy, inconsistent, up and down. And I believe Carr has a foot out the door. He will not be there next year. The Chargers are +1. That's the pick I like this week. I like the Chargers to get on a run here, and I think Herbert and the Chargers go win this game. The Chargers are +1. The Chargers win this game outright. And it is what it is. The next game, let's go to a monster game this weekend. This week is full of big-time games. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs up in Cincinnati. It'll be cold. And the Bengals took 2 last year from Kansas City. The one team in the league that seems to match up with the Chiefs. The Chiefs acquired the great Kadarius Toney. He's out for another 3 weeks. So in 6 weeks, Tony's got 1.5 quarters of football for Kansas City by the end of 3 weeks from now. But hey, he's got his touchdown, right? So it was worth it. There's a reason the Giants sent that guy packing. A talent, yes. But he seems to be a talent that occupies the bench. Cincinnati's +2. Kansas City's on a winning streak. They're having a big season, I believe. Right now, Cincinnati's, 9-2? Kansas City. Cincinnati's making their run for the division title versus the Ravens. The Bengals are playing really good football. They're +2.5 at home. Disrespected. Still not believed in. Burrow takes the Bengals and that strong defense. One of the best defenses in football at home in front of their home crowd on a cold, cold Sunday in northern Ohio. Give me my upset of the week right here. The Cincinnati's +2.5. I believe the Bengals beat Kansas City outright for the 3rd straight time. They have something on this team. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. Give me the Bengals 27-24. That's my dog pick of the week. Game number 6. The New York Jets go to Minnesota to play the Purple Vikings. The Purple people are having a big time year. Cousins doing big things under the radar like usual. Nobody pays attention to him. He's not the sexy guy. People don't believe in him in the big game. Here they come, marching in. The Purple people in Minnesota in front of a sold-out Purple Stadium. The Vikings host the Jets. The Jets are coming off a beatdown of the Bears, making up for the loss to New England, stamping themselves with a new quarterback, White, as Zach Wilson hangs out on the bench, takes some time off and learn. Let's call it a reset, because I don't think the Jets and Wilson are done. They'll be back together in the future. It's a reset time for the young kid. The Jets are playing one of the top level defenses in football, led by a top cornerback in the NFL, Sauce, a rookie of the year candidate. Will they put him on Jefferson, the best single wide receiver in the NFL? That's a hell of a matchup. We're going to find out. But at this point in their careers, I believe Jefferson would get a little bit better than him. I believe the Vikings all-around offense with their passing and running game is going to spread the Jets defense out. And 4 quarters of the Jets defense is going to be a lot to ask for against the Vikings. White plays solid football, but I still don't really know who the guy is. A lot of people think the Jets are going to win this game because they got to go up to Buffalo the following week, and you could chalk that up. I'll give you a lock for 2 weeks from now. Right now, the Jets go to Buffalo and get a beatdown in a freezing cold Buffalo tundra. Okay? 6 feet of snow. The Bills didn't forget that the Jets beat them a few weeks ago. Let me tell you something. The Jets are going to have to get to 10 to get into the playoffs. And the next 2 weeks are going to be rough for them. I believe the Jets will go in and put up a good game, but they don't last 4 quarters. I like the Vikings Sunday. The Minnesota Vikings. Take them in a pick 'em. I believe it's a 1.5 point game. Just leave the points alone. The Minnesota Vikings win this game. Straight up, no line. You want to score. I like the Vikings in this game. 24-17. And to the final game of the week. And you know what that means when that song comes on, baby. We bleed blue here in the Meadowlands. The New York Football Giants season is on the line this Sunday. Make no mistake about it. The New York Football Giants season is on the line. They will play the red-hot, sizzling Washington Redskins. They come into town for an old-school backyard NFC East brawl. There's no way around it. This will be a brawl. This will be physical, bloody, pour your sweat on the field. Which team wants it more? They will play each other twice in the next 4 weeks. The Redskins have won 5 in a row. They're playing with one of the top defenses in football over that 5-game winning streak. Heineke has brought fire to the offense, and their ground game has come to life with Robinson. Scary Terry is a receiver to be dealt with on the outside. They have things clicking all around under Ron Rivera, a guy I tip my hat to all the time as one of the best head coaches in football. You got to respect what he's done. And once again, he's overcome adversity in Washington with that ownership and all the drama and garbage that goes on. And he's kept the team focused. Earlier in the year, they were completely out of it. They were headed for like a 4-win season. But he's brought them through. He's through the dark tunnel and into the light. They've won 5 in a row. And Washington is 6-5. And they hold the final spot in the NFC Conference wild card. The New York Football Giants have lost 2 in a row to the Lions and the Cowboys. They went into Dallas all beat up and crippled with 3 out of 5 O-linemen missing, and the starting tight end Bellinger was out. You were missing Azeez Ojulari, and your entire secondary was in the ER. The Giants were walking the ER, and they had no chance of winning that game. But what they did was they gave Dallas a fight for 2.5 quarters. They showed up, they played hard, and gave all they had, and the refs didn't help. But the Giants were never prepared. They were never a healthy roster to actually go in and realistically think you could win that game. But the New York Giants are getting back Evan Neal, tight end Bellinger. Okay? The O-line has come together. Nick Gates will move over to guard. They got Feliciano back at center, so that strengthens the interior of the O-line. Evan Neal, as I said. Azeez Ojulari, after 5 games, is back at defensive end. So for the first time this year, the Giants will have their starting down 4 on the D-line. Azeez, Kayvon Thibbs, and in the middle, 2 studs, Dexter Lawrence and Leo Williams. Now, Leo's playing hurt, but that guy's a warrior, and he's just going to play. And anytime he's in there, he's a factor. The secondary is still banged up, but you got Rodarius, and you're getting Monroe back, who showed big signs in the first half of the season as a guy that could step in and play starting corner. We did not have him last week. The New York Giants are home in front of 90,000 in a must win. You make the case this is the biggest game in Giants regular season in 6 years. The Giants lose this game, it's 3 losses in a row, and a snowball downhill is building and maintaining speed. Not good.
There's a different way to treat HIV. It's every other month injectable Cabenuva. For adults who are undetectable, Cabenuva is the only complete HIV.
It is what it is. The New York Giants are home. This will be a brawl. Washington can pound the rock. I believe the Giants' front 7 will be the biggest factor in this game, along with the O-line. I believe the Giants' O-line will hold it together to form some running game for Barkley, Breida, and Jones. We could go back to a couple of RPOs and let Jones run the ball. You got the tight end this game, so it's an added weapon over the middle. Slayton will be the possession guy. I believe the Giants' front 7 will apply enough pressure to rattle Heineke into a turnover or 2. Maybe an interception, maybe a strip sack fumble by Kayvon Thibbs. I predict Thibbs gets a sack this game. He's been all over quarterbacks all year, but he hasn't been able to get that actual sack. This game, he goes and gets it. The fan base is going to be loud. The stadium is going to be a factor. And if the Giants want to make the playoffs this year, they got to come out of this game with a win. I don't care how ugly it is. Throw away the stats and the fantasy numbers. Throw away the Jones passing yards. I don't care. This is a must-win for the Giants because you got to go to Philly next week, and then you got to go to Washington in 3 weeks, and they will be coming off their bye. So I'm a realist, and I believe the Giants, Washington probably split their games. The New York Giants will win this game. I picked the Giants to bounce back and win this game at home. They are plus 1.5. I like the Giants 20-17 to pull this game out on their defense. That's the Miz's picks for week 13. And Saturday morning you have a bonus game. The United States plays the Netherlands for the right to go to the quarterfinals, the final 8. The winner of this game probably play Argentina next week in the final 8. Netherlands are heavily favored. The United States is good enough to play with them. That's what people don't know. They're probably the fastest team in the World Cup. Speed matters. 11 players on the United States are starting on European teams. Never happened in the history of United States soccer. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., United States and Netherlands. This was week 13 in the NFL. Have a great weekend.